comprises 6 constituencies: Narok North, Narok South, Narok East, Narok West, Emurua Dikir and Kilgoris constituencies. Further, there are 30 members of the county assembly representing the 31 roads within the county, and continues opening up feeder roads in order to facilitate timely transport of fresh and perishable farm produce to the markets. Development of the road structure is very critical as it is a catalyst for economic development.
Kwa sekta ya barabara tunai pia amejaribu hayo, kwa sababu sisi kama watu ambao mabarabara yetu sio ya lami, mabarabara tinga ilikuwa inafika kwa kila barabara ya nyumbani, na mabarabara zote zilikuwa zinafunguliwa kwa wakati wa Tunai. Jambo la pili ambaye sekta ya Tunai ilishikilia kwa undani zaidi ni kwa nafasi ya kutambua jamii zote ambazo ziko Narok.
The famous Masai Mara Game Reserve, featuring the great wild-based migration, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, is located within the county. The county has a robust ecological system that residents depend on for agriculture, tourism, water, and many other benefits. Since the 2013 general election that was informed by the promulgation of the new constitution, particularly the introduction of county government, Narok County has been under the stewardship of Governor Samuel Ole Tunai.
Kwa ajili ya usaji wa mifugo, tumejenga soko za kisasa za kuuza mifugo ambayo imeleta mipangilio bora. Sekta ya elimu bila shaka kupitia Narok County Bursary Fund tumefadhili elimu ya wanafunzi zaidi ya 15,000 kwa miaka 10 ambayo iliyopita.
However, with Tunai's second term in office coming to an end this year, locals will head to the ballot to elect a new governor.
Kitu ambayo ningeomba ile serikali ambayo inakuja ya Narok ambayo itashikilia mkasa ni kitu ambayo tunaita amani. Kitu Tunai ametengeneza katika Narok County, ameiweka amani kwa tribes zote ambaye ziko county hii yetu ya Narok. So naomba ile serikali ambayo itakuja ambaye hatujui ni gani, ishikilie mambo ya amani katika Narok County.
Ninataka kuambia viongozi kwa ajili sasa ni nyakati ya siasa. Governor mwenye ataingia, ninaomba msitupe wa vijana wa football mbali. Football iendelee kawaida vile inaendelea, na tunaomba hizo tournament zenyu za kama hiyo cup ilikuwa inaitwa Cup Tunai. Tunaomba tu kila mtu atoe cup yake kila December.
Among those set to contest the 9th August gubernatorial election is Patrick Ntutu, the former Labour CAS, who is seeking the governorship for the second time after coming second to the incumbent in 2017, has picked Madhu Kirui as his running mate. Ntutu's candidature, however, will come up against stiff opposition in Narok North Member of Parliament Richard Moitalel Olekenta, deputized by William Semeyoi. Tunai, meanwhile, seems to not be ready to exit the political arena, as he is set to vie for the county's senatorial seat in the upcoming elections on a UDA ticket. Tunai will be up against incumbent Ledamo Lekina, Kilgoris Member of Parliament Gideon Conchella, land activist Meta May Ololdapash, Kiranto Olenabala, Malloy Godfrey Mapelu, who are all running under Azimio affiliate parties.
Thank you for coming. All right. And good evening. From whichever part of the country you're watching us from, this is KBC Channel 1. We are coming to you live from Narok County. This is Masai Mara University. This is our 3rd edition of gubernatorial debate, where we have time to engage different aspirants to tell all the candidates, or rather the electorate from different regions of the country they come from, what is their agenda and what they aspire to achieve once they're elected in office. I'm ready to tell you that we invited 2 candidates here in Narok County, like Moitalel Olekenta of ODM and Patrick Olentutu of UDM. That is the point. The rule of the game is so simple. There'll be no cheering, no clapping from the audience. This is just to give the aspirants enough time to respond to the questions that they will be asked. And remember, that you'll not be allowed to clap, nor cheer, or interrupt. But before then, let me introduce my colleague Nancy Okware, who is on the side of the audience to give us what we should expect. Nancy, over to you.
Shukran sana mwenzangu Victor Olo, na bila shaka mtazamaji, leo hii tumetua hapa katika kaunti ya Narok, na upande huu salamu ni enda suva. Hivyo basi mtazamaji, popote pale ulipo, enda suva na karibu sana kwenye mjadala huu, ambapo kama ilivyo kawaida tunawapa watazamaji na vilevile wale ambao wamewasili hapa ile fursa ya kuuliza maswali kwa waniaji ambao wamewasili hapa. Hivyo basi mtazamaji, hayo yote utakuwa unayapata baada ya muda usiokuwa mrefu. Wasiliana nasi vilevile kwenye mitandao ya kijamii pale kwenye Twitter @KBC Channel 1, @Nancy Okware, @Victor Olo, na vilevile kwenye Facebook @KBC Channel 1 News. Lakini kwa sasa hivi na kurejesha kwake Victor Olo aendelee na mjadala wa siku.
Thank you so much, and just to also inform you that you're live on Nosim FM, so you can tune in and catch us live on this particular event. To remind you that we invited two candidates who are aspiring for this particular slot in Narok County. We invited Honorable Moitalel Olekenta, MP Narok North on ODM ticket, as well as former CAS Labour Patrick Olentutu, who to this end is a no-show. Mheshimiwa, wherever you are, you're still welcome. The show is still on. We extended an invite to all the aspirants, and that is a situation from Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. And moving forward, now let's get into the debate and welcome Mheshimiwa Moitalel Olekenta. Mheshimiwa, thank you for coming and welcome to the debate.
Thank you.
First of all, I'll give you a minute to introduce yourself and greet Kenyans. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to first of all thank KBC for according me this opportunity to talk to my people and to talk to the Kenyan people. And I'd also like to thank my constituents and the people of Narok for attending this forum. And I think I'm greatly honored to have had this opportunity. As you have already said, my name is Olekenta Moitalel. I'm actually the member of parliament for Narok North, and I've been the member of this very great constituency for the last 10 years. And I can tell you it's a very great constituency and great people. I'm also a lawyer by profession. I was admitted to Dubai in 1991. And I'm also a father, I'm a husband, and most important of all is that I'm a Kenyan patriot.
All right. Thank you so much for that. We are heading to the election with less than 60 days to go,
Yes.
slightly around 70 or so days to go.
Yes.
But let me ask you a question. Why do you want to be the governor of Narok County?
I want to be governor of the people of Narok, but more than anything else, the people of Narok want me to be their governor. Actually, Zemu came to me and requested me to represent them as their governor. So I'm actually heeding to the call of the people. But to say that I didn't want it will also not be true, because I've always wanted to serve my people. Because the people of Narok have not benefited, nor have they actually seen or gotten the fruits of devolution. It has been 10 years of suffering. In fact, we have gone back 20 years other than progressing. So I had to come in. And they needed somebody in whose hands they'll be safe. And they came and told me that in my hands they'll be safe. And I think this great county needs great leaders, people who are devoted to the people and not to themselves. So I'm doing it for them, and I'm doing it also for my country, because we are not isolated. We are not an island. We are part and parcel of this country in the world. So that is why I decided to contest, and my people actually did give me that privilege to serve them. And let me take this opportunity to thank the people of Narok North for really granting me support, electing me for 2 consecutive terms, and for actually ensuring that the Kenyan people got a leader who was actually trained by them. So I think I like to thank them so much.
All right, very well.
Yes.
So what makes you think that you're the best candidate? You are 2,
Yes.
much as 1 has not shown up,
Yes.
which we still extend our invite.
Yes.
But what makes you think that you're the best candidate?
First of all, the most important thing is that my people trust in me. I've stayed with this community for the last 10 years, and even before. As I've already said, I've been a lawyer. I've been fighting for their rights. I've been fighting land grabbers on their behalf. I fought many wars for this community. And I think I realized that if I didn't do so, the historical injustices that have been visited on them for the last 100 years will have persisted. And I think it's time that these people realized that they have rights like anybody else, and that they can also be great, they can be empowered economically, and more than anything else, they should play a big role in the development of this country, because we have been left behind for so long, and our people have not had any meaningful employment for so many years. And I think it's time we stepped up and became part and parcel of this country, a very important component as such. Yes. So I think I'm the best, and my people have also told me I'm the best. And once your people give you that confidence, then I can confidently tell all the Kenyan people listening and seeing me now, my people have convinced me, and I think that is the most important thing to me. Yes.
Very well. You've said that it's a mandate given by the people. People
Yes.
telling you that you're the best, but you know, it's a county with around 1.3 million people as per the 2019 census.
Yes.
A county which has got around 8 billion shillings, you know, from the national government channeled to the county.
Yes.
A day after you're elected into office, could you please just tell me how you'll make use of these 8 billion shillings at your disposal?
In fact, it's not 8 billion. 8 billion is the money that we get from the national government. We've got very many sources of funds or revenue. We have got the Masai Mara, and from there we get around 3.5 billion annually. And then we've got another 1 billion from sales, wheat sales, livestock sales, and name it. And of course licensing of businesses. So we are talking about 12.5 billion annually. So from the time devolution was rolled out, Narok County has received 125 billion. So the first thing I will do, of course, is to put professionals to run the county. Because I will say, without any fear of contradiction, that the only department that works in Narok County at the moment is the cash office. Because the cash office is where the money comes and goes out without being used to serve the people of Narok. So I'll first of all ensure that I've got professionals to run Narok County. I wouldn't want to say that I'm going to run it as an individual, because I'm not capable of that. I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm not an accountant. I'm not an economist. I'm not a doctor, for example. So the first thing I'll do is to put the proper structures in place, put the right people who are of high integrity, and of course, people who are also ready to serve and not to steal. So that's the first thing I will do. When it comes to allocation, we'll sit with my team and see where are these resources needed most. For example, Narok, as you very well know, is an agricultural county. In fact, the breadbasket of Kenya. But you see, agriculture has been neglected. It has been neglected totally. We don't have even extension officers. We don't have infrastructure which will have aided the farmers by ensuring that their produce get out of the chambers or their farms, go to the market at the fastest time possible. So you'll find that agriculture is has been abandoned. So the first thing I'll do is actually put professionals in place, ensure that agriculture is propped up and enhanced. And of course, we don't just rely on crops in Narok. We also have livestock. We have got some of the biggest livestock markets in East Africa, like for example, Wasonyiro. And I think we also need to enhance animal husbandry.
Right.
So that we can also tap that, feed the nation as we have always done, and all that. So there are many things that we'll do, but I will encourage professionals to do that. And of course, we'll have linkages with the national government, because if we lack capacity as a county, then of course we utilize the national manpower and know-how, because we are not divorced from the national government. We can also reach out to the world community, the World Bank, for example, other institutions, and ensure that we get the support that we require, because it's always available. So that is what I'll do. But the most important thing is to put in place a great team that will make the dream of these people come true, that will make sure that our people realize the dream that they've always had.
Right.
Yes.
You know, Narok County is a blessed country, so to speak.
Extremely.
Talk of farming.
Yes.
Talk of the larger Masai Mara Conservancy.
Yes.
And you talk of farming. Most farmers will say that they still don't feel that they're being given that platform to exercise their role as farmers.
Yes.
Does this worry you?
I agree with you. I want to tell you something. Narok is actually the highest producer of barley, for example, wheat, even potatoes, maize. But the agricultural sector has been abandoned. And I think I've always said that one of the mistakes that the Constitution made is actually devolving those functions. Because the moment you devolve those functions, and the chief executive of a county is a failure, then definitely the whole system collapses. But with the good management, I think it can be done. So for example, agriculture in Narok, you'll find that most of these farmers have land. But the mechanism of utilizing that land is lacking. You don't have good equipment. And the worst part is that the seed, sometimes they are sold, is not certified seeds. The market has been spread by thieves and conmen and fraudsters. When you come to fertilizer, some big people in this country have actually utilized that to really kill farming, because you'll bring a bag of fertilizer cheaply, come and sell it to the farmers exorbitant prices. So what happens is that we don't produce anything on the farms. You'll go to the farm, you'll take money from AFC, but you're not able to get any returns. And that's what we want to stop completely. As a county, we'll look for concessions to actually import fertilizer directly instead of passing through any other agency, because that's what has been killing us. We'll also ensure that we grow our own certified seeds, because we are capable of doing that. We have got a ranch called Purkoship Ranch, which we can use. We have got so many other farms. We can even contract farmers to give us their farms to grow certified seeds. We are already doing potatoes and at the Purkoship Ranch and other places. So we'll ensure that agriculture is whatever, and then we'll subsidize fertilizer. So we'll ensure it can be done. We'll also ensure that our farmers get modern equipment, tractors, of course, planters and all those things, so that they maximize the productivity of their land and all that. When it comes to livestock, I think we are one of the richest counties as far as livestock is concerned. Unfortunately, we take this livestock from outside to outside counties, even to slaughter. So you find that we kind of don't get our people employed, because that employment is transferred maybe to a place like Dagoretti and elsewhere. So what we want to do is to ensure that, first of all, the farmer benefits to the maximum. Because what has happened in Narok is that I'll bring my cow to the market. This cow is worth 60,000. I have a broker in between. I don't even get to see the buyer. So what the broker does is that he'll come and negotiate with you, undercuts, and gives you, for a cow worth 50,000, for example, he'll offer you 40,000, sell to the buyer for 45,000, okay? So you end up losing 10,000. So what we'll do, and what I've decided shall be done, is that we'll put weight bridges or whatever in all markets, so that we maximize. We sell according to the kilograms of your cow, not just by looking at the cow, so that the people can maximize their profits. You get a calf, okay? You go to treat it of disease and all those kind of things. So you end up spending more than what you'll get.
So, Mheshimiwa, in other words, you are admitting that farmers in Narok County are getting a raw deal?
Of course they are. That one I can confirm, and even the audience can confirm that. They're getting a raw deal, because first of all, we don't add value to our crops. What happens is that a farmer, first of all, there is importation by cartels, for example, of wheat or maize. So you'll find that somebody will bring wheat from Ukraine, for example, or even Russia, at very low price, for example. And then the farmer here will not get market. Okay? So what happens? Okay? The farmer loses tremendously, because first of all, he has taken a loan from AFC. He's not able to service it. He has used his title deed to secure the loan. So what happens is that is always being chased around by auctioneers. So they're having a raw deal. And the first thing we should do is that before we import anything from outside the country, we make sure that we have actually bought all the wheat, maize from the farmers. And that's what's happening in the North Rift. So we should mop up, first of all those kilograms or tons of maize from our farmers, and also wheat and everything else. When you come to something like potatoes, we are the biggest producer of potatoes in this part of the country. But first of all, we have got the challenge of infrastructure. So the farmer will actually harvest his potatoes. There is no road for it for the produce to reach the market. And then also the buyer, instead of taking the 50-kilogram bag, he ensures that the farmer puts 90 kilograms. So you'll find that he's paying for the 50, which is even at a low price, and he's taking 90 kilograms. Okay? So what we have decided as far as that one is concerned, we should actually, there is a factory that was actually built in Kinangop by Honorable Kimunya, and we should actually copy that, so that we process our potatoes and just take it as a completed product. So we add value to what we have, and of course, definitely be very surprised. In fact, I always tell people, the only part of the country that we can create billionaires without stealing is Narok County.
But why is it not happening? Because
it's not happening.
What you're saying what you're saying sounds more of a promise, which other people, even in the past, have given as a solution.
Let me tell you why it's not happening.
What are some of the short-term measures that you'll do to eradicate all these kind of problems in Narok County?
First of all, why it's not happening? Right, is because of poor management, and that's by the county, and that's why we have always complained about devolution. Right, you know, we devolve so many functions without inquiring whether these people are even capable of carrying out those functions. And that is why farming is dead. So the first thing I will do myself, is ensure that we create cold rooms, for example, for perishable goods, so that a farmer can wait till the price is right, so that they are not forced to sell perishable goods at a throwaway price. So the first thing we'll do is that we'll build the necessary infrastructure of storing those commodities till the market price increases. So the next thing we'll do is that we want to make factories. For example, in Narok, we have got very few factories, yet we have got so many crops that we are growing. What we need to do also is milling. We have to create milling corporation, a county milling corporation, and we'll use PPP, public-private partnerships. Because if we do that, for example, you have got very able farmers here. Instead of them selling their goods or their produce cheaply, they can come together. We'll assist them as a county to get loans, not just even from local sources, but even from international sources. Okay, and we build factories. They hold shares. Okay, the county holds some shares, and even other private entities. Then from there, we are able to add value to what we produce. But as long as we don't do that, we'll always lose. We have even seen farmers taking their wheat. You transport trailers of wheat. You agree with somebody in Nairobi, these millers. You reach there, okay? You have agreed on the price. You reach there. First of all, you must know it's very expensive to even to transport those things. You reach there, the price changes because the man knows you will do nothing about it. So you'll offload your wheat. They've reduced the price. And sometimes they even refuse to pay you. We have got so many cases. Going to court because of that exploitation. And there is this, very painful thing about the way the Maasai people are treated. You see, they think we are not intelligent people, so they'll think Maasai is somebody to con throughout. And that is what has been happening, and that is why farmers have been suffering a lot. Yes. Okay.
Mheshimiwa, it's quite unfortunate that this question also would have been asked to your competitor who has not come to the show.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask him the same question because as leaders, either way, only one governor would win come 9th of August. So, because he's not here, I will still push the same question to you.
It's okay.
Wheat farming in Narok County does very well.
Yes.
We have got beef and dairy products around this county. But you realize that most of the wheat farmers in this particular county, the only thing they do, they have got stores and silos. Thereafter, millers will come, then take their produce somewhere else. Why don't you have silos and milling companies here in this particular county? Yet you are the biggest producers of wheat in Narok.
That's a good question. Right. First of all, as I've already said, in fact, you will see very many big farms here. But the people utilizing those farms are not even local people. No, it's only a few farmers who are actually capable of doing that. You find very big, companies in Nairobi or elsewhere coming to lease the land from the farmers, okay, grow the wheat, and take the wheat. So what we are now saying is that we must empower the local person. Because one thing we are going to discourage is the sale of land. Because if I have got 10 acres, why would I sell the land instead of utilizing it to grow the wheat? The first thing we'll do is to create awareness and then create an enabling environment such that we'll sell what we produce at the current world market value, not just local. You know, commodity markets are regulated all over the world. But you find that somebody exploits a farmer. He has nothing to do. He wants to send his children to school. Okay? The middleman there, not even the person buying, the middleman gets an opportunity to exploit these people. Somebody wants to feed his family. He cannot wait. Okay? But if we have our own factories, okay, somebody can deliver the wheat or what, the maize or whatever, have some down payment to assist them in their daily life, survival, and then wait for the right time. And if I am the one producing the wheat, okay, I am the one who is actually, who ends up getting the final, product. Of course, that value addition actually hikes the price of these things. So what will happen is that I'll be able to wait, I'll be able to get maximum benefits and all that. But when we are in a situation whereby I'm forced and compelled by my own suffering to release my produce at a lower market price,
yes,
somebody else goes and stores them. Okay? And by the way, we don't have silos as a community. We have the silos that are run by these, the parastatals. What I'm going to do myself is very simple. Through PPP, public-private partnership, we are going to establish our own silos where the farmers has an interest. There's a place called Nengetia, where there were silos, but it was not, it is rotting. So one thing we'll do is that we'll take up those places, build silos, build a milling corporation there, and then we'll have our wheat processed, okay? If we have to import other ingredients, we shall do it. What had made that place fail in the first place is that the road from Narok to Nakuru was not tarmacked, and it had remained that way for so many years. But now it's tarmacked. When I became the member of parliament, we tarmacked that road, and I think the Narok people are very happy because now they're able to bring their produce without any difficulty, and even the potato farmers are not suffering.
Yes.
So we shall ensure that we build silos and ensure that our people sell at the right price.
All right.
Yes.
I'll come back to the issue of infrastructure later on, Mheshimiwa. But then, what would be your style of leadership?
My style of leadership will be actually participatory. The people must participate in the leadership. We must consult our people in everything. That's what we are doing.
But do leaders embrace this?
You see, let me tell you something. The buck stops with the governor, just the way the buck stops with the president. And let me tell you something. I've seen people can work. It just depends on who is heading a department, who is heading a ministry, who is heading a county government, who is heading a country. I can assure you, and my people are aware of that. If I decide to do something, it shall be done. Because at the end of the day, why will you be given that office if you are not able to deliver? So I can assure you that it shall be done. And I can tell my people it shall be done. Because the first thing I'll do is put professionals in place. I'll not put charlatans who are my political supporters, because I also have children who must benefit from that, in that county. I'm not an isolated human being without a family, without anything. And I want my wife to stand so that at least the others can see her. So I think I shall do it, because there is no alternative. Because if I'm not a public-spirited person, then why should I go for public office? It shall be done, my brother. That one be assured of.
All right. It's interesting because most of the leaders say that they'll embrace public participation, but at the end of the day, when they get into office, they get completely detached from the public.
Yes.
Is this something that, as a governor, right now you're close to people because you're campaigning to take that seat?
Yes.
But you are elected a day after office, you're sworn in.
Yes.
How will it be different?
Let me tell you something. I'm a lawyer. It's now mandatory before you do anything, there must be public participation, because that's not a private enterprise. So the law provides, and we have seen cases where if there is no public participation, then everything is even stopped by the courts. So there will be public participation because there is no shortcut. When you talk about office, there are people who get into office to enrich themselves. There are people who get into office to steal. There are people who get into office to serve. And I think I'm among those who will get into office or who has been in office to serve. And I think my duty is to serve this. Well, if you know how much the Narok have suffered for the last 10 years, you will realize that anybody here will want to be the leader to change that suffering or to actually alleviate the suffering of the people of Narok. And I can assure them that it shall be done.
Very well.
Yes.
Okay. It's quite interesting because some of these questions ought to have been asked to, your opponent, because it's always good to get both sides of the coin. But it's quite unfortunate that he is not here. But we still extend our invite that if he's able to make it to the show, well and good. The stand is still here and we're ready, and the audience all waiting to see how he will turn up or he will come to the show. But before we take a break, just to confirm that we invited all the two candidates only in this particular county. That is Honorable Motalel Olekenta of ODM and former CAS Patrick Ntutu, who is a no-show. And indeed, we shared all the information as KBC to all the aspirants. And of course, he also confirmed that he was going to come to the show. What has happened? He said that he was not contacted. That is not the position of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. We appreciate you for coming. Mheshimiwa, we're taking a break, and when we come back, we still have got so much more on the other side of the break. The hashtag is Kenya Decide, and that is what is trending. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Boresha maisha na bima. Maisha hayatabiriki, huenda kukawa na panda shuka. Iwapo utashindwa kulipia bima yako malipo ya kila mwezi, usiwe na wasiwasi. Pata bima ili kuhakikisha yote yatakuwa sawa.
Goes out to one person, but it's not you. Go. Get the wife and bring her out here.
Yes.
What's this? What do you want? I'm Prince Ryder's wife. What are you doing? What? Let go of me!
Move! Are you willing to follow my lead? Destroy those damn Celestials so we can rule? I'll drag the Heavenly King out of heaven myself!
If I were Mars, I wouldn't take you with me.
Top sports attractions on KBC Channel 1. In July, Kenya Morans face off against the DRC, Egypt and Senegal in the FIBA Basketball World Cup African qualifiers in Alexandria, Egypt from 1st to 3rd of July 2022. Also in July, Kenya plays South Africa in Rugby League test matches in Nairobi with a return fixture set for October. Still in July, watch the World Athletic Championships from 15th to 24th July live from Oregon, USA, as Kenyan athletes seek glory. followed by the 22nd Commonwealth Games from 28th July to 8th August, live from Birmingham, England. In August, join our coverage of the World Athletics Under-20 Championships from the 1st to 6th of August 2022 from Cali, Colombia. Then, in November, catch the World Half Marathon Championships on 13th November from Yangzhou, China. Now that's what sets us apart as KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Nanyuki, are you ready? Saturday Night Show SNS coming your way live from AJ's The Ranch in Nanyuki this coming Saturday, 4th of June 2022 from 4 p.m. up till late. Country meets the 80s and 90s. Mutajibamba, Nyama Choma, great music by DJ Stano on the Wheels of Steel, na pia mimi John Karani JK, live on location with Saturday Night Show. We gonna make it a night to remember. Kosa Uchenga.
The president has been a key supporter of women empowerment in the country.
I was the first female ADC to a sitting general.
His Excellency the President broke key barriers for me in appointing me.
This, I am proud to state, demonstrates clearly our commitment to engendering the security sector, and more importantly, our resolve to empower and to position our women in positions of leadership.
All right, welcome back. It's now our second phase of this gubernatorial debate from Narok County. Just to clarify that we invited two aspiring candidates, that is Motolet Olekenta of ODM and former Labour CAS, particularly Ntutu, who has not come to the show, but the show must go on nonetheless. Now, at this particular point, I'm taking it to my colleague Nancy Kware, who is on the other side of the audience, to get as a reaction from the audience and what other questions do they have. Nancy, what do you have?
Naam, shukran sana Victor. Kwa kweli wamesikiza yale ambayo yamesemwa na kunao baadhi ambao wana maswali, na hivyo basi nitaanza tu upande huu kisha nitakuwa naelekea upande ule mwingine. Pengine tukianza na wewe, jina lako na swali lako ni lipi leo hii?
Asante.
Simama kidogo. Nitakushikia.
Okay. Kwa majina naitwa Steven Tikani, mwanafunzi hapa Masai Mara University, na pia kijana ambaye mkazi wa kaunti hii ya Narok. Nina swali moja ama mbili kwa kiongozi wangu ama mheshimiwa. Ya kwanza namuuliza, baada ya miaka 5 ama 10 ambaye atakuwa katika uongozini, Mungu akimjalia tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, atakuwa na nini ya kuonyesha? Anatamani yawe na nini ya kuonyesha, ama legacy yake itakuwa nini? Ya pili, Narok County imegawanywa katika sehemu mbili. Kuna upande ambapo kumekauka ama wana experience kiangazi kidogo. Leo nilikuwa pale Cereals Board, wana kama gunia 20 peke yake ya kulisha wa Masai. Utatumia mbinu gani kulisha hao watu in case kuna crisis ya chakula katika upande wa chini, maana upande wa juu wana chakula? Asante sana.
Na asante sana kwa swali lako, na tutakuwa tunaelekea upande huu kupata swali lingine kwa ambaye alikuwa ameinua mkono. Pengine tueleze tu, utasimama utueleze jina lako na swali lako ni lipi leo hii. Shikia.
Asante. Kwa majina naitwa Daniel Naikuni na ningependa kuuliza swali ambalo halijaguziwa, ambalo linahusika na upande ya health as well as environmental conservation. Naomba kutumia lugha ya Kimombo. And my first question is on health. We all know the kind of situation we are in as a county on health matters, that we are a referring point to other counties. Mheshimiwa, as you come in as the governor, what is your plan in the next 100 days or 1 year pertaining the health situation of our people? Number 2 is on conservation. Mheshimiwa Kenda, you have been one of the champions on conservation of the Mau forest. What is your exact passion, or the passion that drives you in the conservation of the Mau? And what exactly are you going to promise the people of Narok and the whole of Soknet, that is south of Tanzania and north of Kenya? The south of Kenya, Soknet, and north of Tanzania.
Na asante sana kwa swali lako. Kuna wengine ambao wameinua mkono upande huu, hivyo basi tutapata swali lako kwanza kisha tutaelekea upande wa nyuma. Jina lako na swali lako ni lipi leo hii?
Thank you so much. My name is Walter Kiboy, a master's student in this institution. Thank you, Governor, for coming to Masai Mara University. I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, I know very well that you believe in unity in diversity. As you come into office, how are you going to manage Narok County, believing that it is more so a cosmopolitan county? And question number 2, Masai Mara University is a key institution in Narok County. Remember that the population of Masai Mara University supports the economy of this county in matters population and student as far as that is concerned. Therefore, as you come into office, what plans do you have in supporting Masai Mara University in its endeavors as matter of expansion and infrastructure development? Thank you.
Naam, shukran sana kwa swali lako. Kabla ya kuendelea, naarifu ya kwamba turejeshe usukani kwake Victor Olo ili aongoze katika kujibiwa kwa maswali yale, kisha tutachukua maswali zaidi. Victor.
Thank you very much, Nancy, and even to the audience for the questions. Mheshimiwa, just straight to you,
yes,
to question number 1.
Thank you very much. Right. I have heard what Mr. Tikani has asked. For the next 5 years or 10 years, because I now get 10 years from my people, one thing is that I wouldn't want my people to be beggars. I will want them to be fully food sufficient. When it comes to the dry areas, you must realize that, first of all, we have got livestock rearing areas, and that's what we will call, or we call semi-arid areas. So what I'll do is that I ensure that livestock management is enhanced by ensuring that the farmers or the rangers are actually assisted as far as, for example, ensuring that these animals are disease-free, by ensuring that the animals are vaccinated, and also by ensuring that they are dipped so that they do not have any complications as far as tick-borne diseases are concerned. So the first thing I will do is also ensure that they have the market for their livestock. And the most important thing is that where do they take their livestock? As I've already said, they take their livestock to places outside the county at very low prices. What we have planned for, and we are going to do it, is to have an abocha that will actually put money in their pockets. And once you empower them by putting money in their pockets, they don't need to beg. I don't need to be told you have to equip, to put stores for people. What they'll do is they'll be able to buy their own food. So it will not matter whether you are from a dry area or you are from the highlands. Everybody will get benefits from their produce. You must also realize Narok, as I've said, has the Masai Mara Game Reserve. That one is what we can call also a semi-arid area, for example. So the people who are actually neighboring the national park should benefit to the maximum. Because what has happened is that they are exploited. And the exploitation must stop and will stop. First of all, we are insisting that 70% of the employment in any sector must be localized. It must be the young people, young girls and boys of Narok, who are getting 70% of any employment. If you start a hotel in Narok, for example, in the Masai Mara, you must employ 70% of the local people. You must also ensure that if the products that are needed in those lodges, for example, you need meat, as long as they're inspected, you need the cabbages, you need milk, we have to have suppliers, local suppliers, because that's the only way we can raise the economy. We are also saying there are those guides who are actually inside the park, the people who take the tourists around. They have a lot of vehicles. Land cruisers are not a few. But unfortunately, what they are doing is that these people do not give them jobs. Yes. So we are going to ensure that they get. So now, when it comes to the, we'll make sure they are fully secure. So now we can go to the health.
The health question, yes.
The health question. We say in Narok that the Narok people suffer when they are alive and when they are dead. Because first of all, health facilities are non-existent. We take our people to Bomet, we take them elsewhere because we have no health facilities. We have got 40 doctors for the 1.3 million people of Narok. Only 40. And these people are concentrated maybe in Narok town. They are nowhere else. There are no health facilities. There's nothing like that. We are going to ensure that you have a working hospital, 4-level hospital in each and every of the 6 sub-counties.
Yes.
So we are ensure that that's done. We are also going to ensure that we get satisfied personnel. So we'll ensure that health facilities also are well equipped with facilities, with drugs and everything. So we'll ensure that is done.
And they can hold you to that.
You will do it, and you'll come and
thank you.
Find out for it. And then I think let's just because
this gentleman who asked you, master students,
conservation.
Yes.
Okay, let me go to conservation.
Which I'll come to that one later.
Okay, fine. So somebody is talking about managing cosmopolitan and what have you. There's something that I want to assure the people of Narok. I've been the member of parliament for Narok North for the last 10 years. Narok North has got all communities, not just local communities as Kenyans, but even foreigners. For the last 10 years, we have enjoyed uninterrupted peace. And when some other people create stories which are fiction, I can just assure you we'll have opportunities for all of us. If you are a person of Narok, you will be part and parcel of this community. You will not be outside, but there is something else. It doesn't mean that because you are cosmopolitan, the local community should not be given their space. They should be given their space. At the end of the day, they are accommodating everybody. I also insist that they must be accommodated. Because when, for example, you come and take jobs, all the jobs, okay? You bring people from Bomet, you bring people from Kericho, you bring people from the whatever, they displace our children. We send them to school, they don't get jobs in their own place, in their own home. We are insisting, okay? Any 70% of the jobs should be for the local people. And it doesn't matter which community you come from as long as you are Kenyan, but you must be local. So when it comes to opportunities, when we form the government, we shall have all communities represented. We shall have ministers, we shall have board directors, we shall have CSS. We will be accommodating. At the moment, there is no accommodation. In fact, maybe you'll find that one community from elsewhere is the one that has all the positions. Even the Maasais are becoming outsiders in their own county. So we are going to give everybody an opportunity.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa, for that. I skipped that question about the conservation because I'll come to it later on. But let's still go back to Nancy. It seems that the audience have a lot of questions for you. Nancy, what do you have on the other side?
Naam, kweli kabisa Victor Olo, upande huu kuna maswali zaidi ambayo tutazidi kuyachukua na kuyaelekeza kwake mheshimiwa, na hivyo basi kuna wale ambao wameinua mkono, pengine tuanze tu nawe, jina lako na swali lako ni lipi leo hii?
My name is Oloshorua Kelvin Tonkei. Mheshimiwa, and I'll speak in English because that's what I'm fluent in. I'll start by a small statement that says, history is more than the path that is left by the past. It influences the present and can shape the future. History is not a burden of any one man or woman alone, but some, like you, are called to make a special share in a part of the challenges. It is a duty which I know you will undertake with utmost dignity and respect that will be well admired.
Asante.
Swali
lako kwa kifupi.
Now that all the developments have been going towards the south, what will you do to the north if elected as governor?
Thank you so much for your question. Nitaendelea kwa upande huu, pengine tuanze na ulikuwa umeinua mkono tangu hapo awali. Jina lako na swali lako ni lipi leo hii?
Thank you very much. My name is Panato Kilesi, and I'm a constituent of Mheshimiwa's constituency. I got 2 quicks for Honorable Sir. And my first question is the question about, you've talked about the silos and especially the ones in Ingetia. Sir, with the little statistics I've done about the county's budget, is that we receive an approximate amount of 12.5 billion annually. And the recurrent expenditure, wages included, in Narok County runs up to 9.32 billion annually. Sir, with the remaining amount of balance that will remain from the said budget of 12.5, do you think we can manage all this development? And my other question is the question about employment and what development fund altogether. You were quoted saying that in your government you will give an amount that is equivalent to 200 million shillings per year to every ward for ward development purposes. Again, sir, is this achievable with the sort of recurrent expenditure we are having as a county? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. Kwa sababu ya usawa wa kijinsia nitapata swali moja kutoka upande huu, kisha nitamwelekezea mwenzangu Victor aweze kuelekeza maswali hayo kwa mheshimiwa. Jina lako na swali lako leo hii ni lipi?
Utaniruhusu niongee kwa lugha ya Kimombo. Yeah. So Nashipai Kenga. My question to Mheshimiwa, first I would like to thank you for showing up to listen to the people of Narok who've appeared before this place today to just be able to hear the views of the candidates. My question is about, you see, Narok has a potential of even growing to be a city because, as the people have mentioned, the revenue collection and even contribution to the GDP of this country. Therefore, we also need to focus on issues of urban planning. Like, you realize that we don't have proper planning in this county. So, Mheshimiwa, I'd like you to mention on the plan that you have on that. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your question. I'd like to hand it over to Victor Law so that he can direct the questions to Mheshimiwa.
Very well, thank you so much. Very pertinent questions from the audience, Mheshimiwa. Don't you think so?
Well, yeah, very pertinent.
Go ahead,
very
please
pertinent.
pick the first one. There's a gentleman who asked a question about the development going to the south that the north has been neglected.
Yes.
What's your response?
My response is I agree with him fully. First of all, you must realize that we have had a very polarizing regime in Narok as far as the county is concerned. You've got a governor who came into that position by dividing us. And I'm one of those people who have stood against them for the very simple fact that they have actually been causing unnecessary friction between our communities. So what happened is that because in the last parliament I was in TNA, the governor was actually in, what was it called, there was this Ruto party. URP, okay? So first of all, I was only a member of parliament. So what they did from the beginning is that they actually shunned me and said that I was Madoadoa. I also fought for the restoration of the Mau. I became their enemy. I was also fighting for the rights of the community here. I became their enemy. So what they did was that any money that was supposed to go to Narok North was actually diverted. But we managed. It was like trying to use the lack of resources or the blocking of resources to make us kneel, and we have not kneeled. And the people of Narok North have survived, and they have thrived without that assistance, that denial of the rights. So when I get in, I will not divide the people of Narok. Whether you have supported me, whether you have voted for me, the fact is you have constitutional rights, and I must respect those rights. We will distribute our resources equitably to every part of this county, and nobody will be lacking, and they'll get their share. And that also goes as far as jobs opportunities are concerned. When you talk about the recurrent, first of all, and I'd like to assure the people of Narok, we have got hundreds of ghost workers in the payroll of Narok County, people who are not there. There is also mismatching, okay, as far as job qualifications and what have you. You'll find that somebody is supposed to be, maybe a veterinary doctor or something like that. That person is made a clerk. Somebody who is made a head of the Department of Agriculture, that person is maybe a teacher, a primary school teacher. You'll find that a graduate who has a master's is just given a desk, or not even given a desk, is just put in the payroll. He just comes and collects his money. So what happens? You'll find that somebody who is qualified is misplaced. It's not placed in the right department. You'll find that somebody who is a graduate earns 30,000, while a clerical officer who is no experienced but with family connections or the relative nepotism playing a role here gets 150,000. So you'll find that, first of all, the amount of money that one is paid is not commensurate with the responsibilities. So one thing I'll do is actually is audit the payroll and ensure that any ghost worker is removed. And ensure that people work for what they're supposed to work, so that we can benefit from their know-how.
Yes. You talked about ghost workers, and there's a gentleman who asked about unemployment, the rate of employment in this particular county. Your take on that? Yes, my take on that is that actually there is overemployment, but the wrong people are employed. If you go to Narok County, and somebody who works there can actually prove that. We have got thousands of people who are actually the former employees of former Narok County Council. Very qualified people. What the governor did when he came in was to tell them to go home. They are earning salary. He brings in another workforce, which is even not qualified. They earn more salary. So you'll find that there is double or triple employment for the same positions. So that's not whatever. So what you'll do is audit the payroll. If you are not supposed to be there, we kick you out. The person who is supposed to be there stays there or is brought back there. Because I think what has been happening in Narok is unforgivable. It's wrong. It's immoral. Yes. All right. Then there's a lady who asked about urban planning.
There is something else about the recurrent. That's now where the problem is. There are many people, ghost workers, because how do you justify 9.32 billion per annum a salary? Who is this person being paid? So when it comes to the lady asked about Narshepa asked about revenue collection and urban planning.
Right.
Let me tell you something about Narok. We have got so many agencies owned by people, the governor and his cronies, collecting revenue in Narok. They are own. So first of all, that revenue does not come to the county coffers. It goes directly to pockets. We know there is somebody, a very big man in this country, who used to collect billions or hundreds of millions every week. A helicopter used to come to Masai Mara. They package the dollars in briefcases and take it to Nairobi. It's still happening. I can say without fear of contradiction that most of the money being used by one of the parties to campaign in Kenya is from Masai Mara. It's from Narok County.
That's a huge allegation, Mheshimiwa.
It is. It's an allegation, but ask anybody on the streets. So that's what's happening. So one thing I'll do is, I don't know, I don't see that when Narok people used to collect money for themselves, we used to have a lot of money. But all of a sudden, what I will do is very simple. First of all, I will not just cancel agreements or any arrangements haphazardly. I can't, because I'll also have to look at the contents of the agreement. But what I can assure you is that revenue collection will be streamlined. We'll have an authority in the line of KRA to collect our money. We'll make sure that it is our people who collect the money, because that one creates employment. You don't have to bring people from outside, give them employment while our people are not employed. So if you are going to be given the opportunity to collect, 100% of the employees must be from this county. Okay? And the money must go directly to the accounts of the county, not anywhere else. And the other thing is that we must ensure that not even a single cent is wasted. And also, we must ensure that that collected money or revenue must be for the benefit of the people.
Okay.
And what have you. So planning, urban, just one please. Urban planning. We have gotten it wrong for a long time. You see, Narok, we went to court to even stop them from making it a municipality, because we don't have the infrastructure that's supposed to make a municipality work. But nobody cares about planning in this county. If anything, they specialize in actually grabbing plots from people who are not aware their plots are being whatever. Okay. So what I can tell them is that we'll engage professionals, we'll do urban planning. We have got a lot of land outside the town, and we'll ensure that we have got...
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I have got two quick questions, because I'm told we are running out of time.
Okay.
The number one issue is, the gentleman asked about the Mau conservation.
Yes.
It's still a hot potato, and we cannot run away from it. The government has really tried to conserve that water tower. If elected as a governor, how will you make sure that you resolve that issue without making it political? And number two, the issue of revenue collection at the Masai Mara Conservancy, but the Kenya Airports Parking Services, the KAPS, is also a hot potato.
Yes.
How will you ensure that the revenue collected in Masai Mara Conservancy is distributed to the locals without making it also a big issue even to the locals, so that they don't feel a pinch in their pockets as well?
Okay, first of all, the Mau forest, the Masai Mau forest conservation. First of all, I've been at the forefront for the last 10 years in protecting it.
Yes.
And ensuring that it is actually brought back to the people, because there was never any civilized way of actually setting it apart. It was never set apart as far as the law is concerned. I've got lawyers here like Amaro, I've got Mingati, I've got others who have been fighting this war. And they'll not go into the merits of the case, because as a lawyer, the matter is pending, it's live in court, and I think the judgment will be given. But what I can assure the Kenyan people is that the Masai Mau must be conserved at whatever cost. Not for the people of Narok, but for the world. Because the sources of the waters, up to the Nile, up to Alexandria, up to Egypt, emanates from the Mau. So it's not just about Kenya, it's about the world. The Mau forest is the source of Mara River. If there is no Mau, there is no Masai Mara. And Masai Mara is not a Kenyan heritage, it's an international heritage. We must actually ensure that nobody ever again encroaches into the Mau. And one thing we are doing, and what we'll do, is already being fenced. And I'd like to thank the President of this country, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. And I'd like to thank Honorable Raila Odinga for what they've done. They've sacrificed a lot for this. One thing I will do as governor is ensure that there is fencing. We'll put an electric fence from end to end. Secondly, we'll ensure that we create another tourism circuit, such that you'll go from Masai Mara, stay for 2 or 3 days, come to the Mau, because you have got wildlife, you have got abundance of bird life, okay? You have got very beautiful sceneries, so we'll have a limited exploitation of the resources. Not exploitation, such we'll build hotels there, such that our children get employment, we give the local community an opportunity to invest there.
Okay.
And definitely it will be, and I'm sure I am not going to talk about it much, but it shall not be taken again. And we have said, if somebody believes that they'll ever go back, let them forget it, because we shall create a human shield. We'll start from one end to another. We'll create a human shield to ensure nobody ever gets it. Even because, I mean, that one is not. There's no compromise on that one. So now you are talking about the Masai Mara.
I'm told you're running out of time.
Yeah, caps. Okay,
in 10 seconds, if you can kindly.
First of all, caps, I don't have any comment. I need to look at the agreement. But all I can assure the people of Narok is that we are going to collect our money for ourselves. If you are going to use any other entity, the people will be employed in that entity will be nobody else but our people. It will be our children, nobody else. So that is what we are doing.
All right, Mheshimiwa, at this particular point, I'd love to thank you so much for coming. I'm afraid that that's all that we had time for. We have got so much to cover, but because of time, we are afraid that we have just to leave that show at that particular point. We have been speaking to Honorable Moitalel Olekenta, running for the gubernatorial seat of Narok County here in Narok. This is the gubernatorial debate from Narok County, all the way from Masai Mara University. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. Thank you so much for taking part in our social media platforms. We appreciate my colleague Nancy Okware and even the audience for the beautiful questions that you've asked. You can give yourselves a round of applause. Kindly. And on that note, we say thank you so much for watching and have a good night. See you on the next county. Bye-bye and good night.
Thank you.
Are you ready? Saturday night show SNS coming your way live from AJ's The Ranch in Nanyuki this coming Saturday, 4th of June 2022 from 4 p.m. up till late. Country meets the 80s and 90s. Mutajibamba, Nyama Choma, great music by DJ Stano on the Wheels of Steel, na pia mimi John Karani JK live on location with Saturday Night Show. We gonna make it a night to remember. Kosa
Wayuni. Umeingiaje?
Nimefanya hivi.
Ndio sababu kila mtu siku hizi anaingia vile anataka, si ndio?
Nikuweke hapa ama pale nje niko na be wako Jonte.
Coffee iko ready na sija invite.
Actually, I'm not in the mood for breakfast.
Babe, mbona umejam?
Jonte, what do you really want with your life?
Jina to change topic manzi, imeanza kuwa serious sana.
I made the wrong choice.
Definitely. Anangoja kubonda mali ya babako. Amekwambia shida ni nini?
No, but he makes it sound urgent.
Well, it might be.
So, tunatoka sahi?
Twende. Lakini Gren, washa tu tukoje tu kidogo.
You don't mix your personal issues with work. I thought your father taught you better.
Did he?
Mpambe Gibson Gadho Mbugwa almaarufu prosecutor kwenye kipindi Ukipendacho Vioja Mahakamani kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1 anaomba usaidizi wako kudhibiti gharama ya matibabu ya figo. Jamaa na marafiki wameandaa mchango mnamo tarehe 11 mwezi ujao wa 6 kwenye ukumbi wa Charter Hall, jumba la City Hall jijini Nairobi. Waweza kutuma mchango wako kwa paybill